Goldman Sachs says 4 cities will suffer a 2008 crash in home values. The story is from a couple days ago. They predict that home values will worsen through 2023 due to skyrocketing interest rates and declining housing prices. The firm predicts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ultimate Freedom Guide Podcast, your source for empowering your journey to freedom in all aspects of living. Join us as we strive for ultimate freedom and a limitless life. All right, guys, I'm going to show you a clip from one of my favorite podcasts, which is the PBT Podcast, Patrick Bet David Podcast. And he's talking to Tom Ellsworth about the Goldman and Sachs report. It's the report that's talking about 4 major cities that is going to be experiencing a 2008 housing market type crash, right? And I know a lot of people are looking for a national market correction. You're not going to see that. It's going to happen in certain cities. In certain cities, it's not going to happen. I know people here in Florida and South Florida especially want to see a correction in the market just because there's not a lot of affordable homes, right? So that means a lot of people that have careers, jobs, that have good credit, low debt to income, these people, it's still hard for them to be able to afford a home in this market. But before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And feel free to let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. I will see you on the other side.
Boom. Tom, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Pat, this is what we've been saying, isn't it? And this is just the first set. Now, Goldman Sachs has said, here's the first set, and these are the ones that are going to fall the farthest, so they're easiest to predict. Now, there's other places in the country that are stable. Like right now, Florida's prices are stable, kind of down 4.5%, what I was reading. And it's because there's still enough demand in Florida to keep them there, and there's not supply to push it down, but the transactions aren't happening. So this is just the beginning of what we've been talking about for 9 months. The interest rates, the overpriced market, and now here it comes. It's coming back. And the question is, the reason you have a crash, why do you have a crash? Because the price will fall until someone says, I'll buy it. That's how an inverted auction crash works, is the prices keep dropping until somebody says, I'll buy it. Just like the price of art will keep going up at an auction at Christie's until somebody says, I'm out, that guy can have the painting. It's the exact same thing, just in reverse. We saw this coming. We've been talking about it for a while.
Rob, can you pull this up? I'm about to send this to you. Adam, you can give some thoughts until he brings it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I actually kind of took a look at why these 4 cities. We've all seen what's happening in South Florida, especially in Florida. What goes boom must go bust, except for, I think, in South Florida. And where I'm kind of going with this is East Coast versus West Coast. Everyone on the East Coast, anyone in the Northeast, and if you're New York, Boston, Jersey, everyone is coming down to South Florida. They call Miami the 6th borough because they're not going to Atlanta. They're not going to South Carolina. They're not even going to North Carolina. Some people are. But everyone on the East Coast that says, screw it, we're going south to Florida. All right, cool. So we can put that aside. Everyone on the West Coast, there's so many different options out there. If you're in California, you can go north to Oregon. You go north to Seattle. You go a little bit further east. Now you're in Vegas. You go south. You're in Texas. Like, there's so many different options out there. But each of these 4 cities, I was kind of going through this with my buddy Joe, who is here today. Shout out to Joe. And each of these cities have actually a very nuanced approach. So if you're looking at San Jose is what, 20 minutes outside of San Francisco? Yeah. Hello, tech jobs. We're seeing what's happening in the tech space. Microsoft, Google, the list goes on and on about how many people are getting cut from their jobs, 10,000 jobs being cut. Okay, so that's tech. Austin, same thing with tech, right? Isn't Austin a tech bubble as well? Yeah. So... And it's also, what do they say, keep Austin
Very
weird?
Very good point you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then they call Austin Texifornia.
So hilarious. And then obviously everything that's going on in California. Shout out to Gavin Newsom for being the U-Haul Employee of the Year for the 2 years running. Shout out to you.
Good job,
MVP.
buddy.
Amazing with him, MVP. California politics, the cost of living, it's crazy. San Diego, weird city, beautiful city, expensive though. Why are you moving to San Diego? What's the industry in San Diego? Last but not least, this is something that could raise a different conversation. Phoenix. How much of that is immigration? how much of that is immigration? Basically, people saying, "Yeah, I don't like what's going on here," and Phoenix. So each of these cities are very weird. But back to your point, Tom, the underlying tone here is interest rates, inflation, cost of living for sure. But then there's a multitude
That's
of
a good
factors.
point. I would say
beyond
to you,
that.
stay classy when you talk about San Diego. It's a little offensive.
Always.
Can we go to
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all of the video I'm going to show today. I am definitely going to put the link to that full video in the description below. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. Let me know if you are a first-time home buyer, you're an investor. Let me know what you think about the upcoming prediction of the 2023 housing market. And I'll be sure to do more videos talking about these things. Remember, this is ultimate freedom. This is one of the ways that we are freeing ourselves. The more we are in the know, the better we can make wise financial decisions in the future. So whenever you see this video, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.